What is up, you beautiful people? Thank you for tuning in. We have Aaron Nagler joining me here in just a second. But big shout out to Quick Trip sponsoring the show. Make sure you have the Quick Rewards app, and you can win vehicles and stuff. They give away so much stuff, and you get I get like free chocolate milk. I get really excited when I get something for free. But anyways. Let's bring in this.
You literally said I get free chocolate milk and then brought me on, and I'm dying. That's brilliant. That is
I think
great.
I think that's the best promo ever. If you go to this gas station every
free
now and again,
chocolate milk. Come on.
They just give you free chocolate milk every now and again, or whatever you choose. But I choose chocolate milk, so I get it a lot. And every now and again, they're like, "Hey, that one's free." You ever, you're at the bar every now and again, the bartender buys you a beer, you get pretty excited inside.
Back in the day, that was kind of standard operating procedure, right? When I first moved to New York, buybacks were a thing. Every third drink, you would buy 2 drinks, whatever you were drinking, the third one was on the house. But then, all sorts of stuff happened, and then that's all gone by the wayside. But yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Free chocolate milk, let's go.
You know what I mean? I don't go to bars very often, but when I do, it's like, small town bars.
You'd be mobbed, Ramage. Yeah. You can't go to a bar in Wisconsin. Come on now. I mean, unless you want to drink for free, probably.
Yeah. No, but like if you're at a bar, like a bartender just buy you a drink and you buy them drinks and like they'll some drinks, some don't
do that anymore though. It used to be like it's all
in small towns.
They shot with us. Like, yeah, you're probably that's true. That's a fair point. But like it used to be like, yeah, the bartender would have a few or have a shot with you. But I get it in this day and age, man. Everybody's on edge. So yeah, that doesn't.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't be a bartender because I'd be the drunkest one in the bar. They'd be like, we had so many people, but we made no money.
Dude, I went to a place a couple weeks ago called Holiday Cocktail Lounge here in New York, Lower East Side. When I first moved to the city, there was a guy. He owned it. He passed on now. He's an old Russian dude. But back in the day, he would be so blasted, and he would just yell at people. Like there were always some yuppies that would come in and try and buy it. Like they wanted to buy his bar, and he was just old and drunk on vodka, and would just, if you just rubbed him the wrong way, he would just yell at you and throw you out. It was brilliant. And you had to wait like an hour for a drink. But the theater was so good, made it all worth it. It was so good.
It sounds like that version of like Seinfeld, the soup Nazi.
Yeah, pretty similar. Not dissimilar at all. Yes. And the place is still there. It's just not the same. Now it's all like, up and boring. But back in the day, it was great.
Yeah, I'm not a big bar fella these days. After you hit 40, I still do a little bit of drinking.
After you hit 40, sir, I am 49, and I still go to a bar 3 or 4 times a week. Come on.
Well, I live in a small town, so like, I don't live right in Green Bay, so like I'm limited on the bars I get to go to. And I'm not gonna trash the bars in my town, but like, if you've been to it like 4, 5, 6 times, you've had that same conversation.
Yep, you've seen the people, you've had the combos. I hear you. There's a couple, I will say, last time I was in Green Bay, there are a couple down by the river, like old school, like they got Pabst signs, like Pabst neon signs in the window. Those are dope, man. I love those types of bars. But like, the new kind of like, people go there kind of bars, like, nah, that ain't my scene.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Banky always makes fun of me. He and his girlfriend, they're like, "Oh, this place in Green." They were telling me about some place in Green Bay. I don't remember what it's called now, but they were like, "Oh yeah, it's dark. It's a dive bar. You'd love it." Like, yes, that's it.
I do. I do like those small bars that like you just like don't even know exist until you drive by, and then you just go in.
See it, and you're like, "Oh, I gotta go there."
Yeah. And next thing you know, you have a few new friends that you never talk to again. But that night you're convinced.
That night, they are your ride and dies. Yes,
they are. Right. And you're like, "Oh, we're gonna link up. We're gonna do so many things." Yeah, I'm never gonna talk to you again.
I'm never gonna see you again.
That's just kind of how it is. All right.
Is what it is.
But I appreciate everyone who's tuning in live. This will also be on the podcast, you know what I mean? But big shout out to Mr. Aaron Nagler joining me, Mr. Cheesehead TV. There's the one of two.
Half.
I had
well, it's like Corey and I are the co-founders, but there are like at this point there's like 20.
Oh yeah.
Some
There's
people
definitely
that make it go, and I mean, there are so many people who do so much great work at Cheesehead TV. I would be remiss if I didn't interject here and say phenomenal work by everybody at Cheesehead TV.
Yeah,
No doubt.
I totally agree. I think I've made it clear. You you that She Said TV is like what started this. This is
I
so like people who don't like me, you can
blame
blame
us.
She Said
Blame
TV
us. It
because
is
they
funny how often I hear this. Like, not that people should blame you, but like, or get after you, but the idea that like you guys were there, like Corey, when we started Packer Transplants, let's do a podcast. Literally the response was, "What's a podcast?" Because this is 2007. Nobody
yeah.
was doing it back then. So yeah, it's kind of crazy though. I will say, I was just thinking of you the other day because someone sent me that clip. Again, it's an older clip now at this point, but it was what's Robert Tunyon on a Barstool podcast
Oh yeah, I was thinking about this.
asked about something that was said in the Packers blogosphere or whatever, and he said he mentioned you and me, but he got both of our names wrong.
Yeah, I felt like he was closer to my name than he was to yours.
Yours, but like the idea that he was like there, it's so funny. I think of this all the time now when he said, "Oh, I don't know, there are so many Packers podcasts," and he's right. There are a
Yeah,
billion of them. But it was funny, and then he was like, there are a couple like Matt. I think he said damage, or I can't remember what he said,
yeah,
but he was like
Ramad or some.
Ramaj maybe, but like he got both of our names wrong. But it was like, yeah, at least he knows. So
Yeah, he knows mine because I asked him to come on my podcast like early on when he first
right,
got to Green Bay a lot,
right.
and he was like, "Oh, for sure, I got you, I got you."
There
And
you go.
then and
Wait,
then
did he ever come on?
no, he never did. It didn't happen, and not because he's like a bad guy, but I mean he's
No,
got better stuff. He does.
he's
He's not a
overwhelmed. He's
yeah. He
overwhelmed.
doesn't do a lot. I feel like he's like
You're
into his
right.
work.
He's
He
not a
doesn't do
big
a
media
lot.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he did like Barstool, but like, I'm not gonna like
But that's
start.
Barstool.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not gonna.
you notice how Coach did Barstool this summer twice,
Yeah, everyone.
and
Yeah.
hasn't been back on Packer
Oh,
Transplants.
dude, that's actually a
Getting a
question I
little too
got.
big, a little too big for his britches, I think.
Yeah, I
I'm
actually have
totally
I,
kidding.
I have some questions here, and that's actually one of
Okay.
them. So I don't want to ruin it. I
All right.
actually prepared for this podcast. I mean, usually how
How
I
dare
prepare
you?
is I just
dare
drink beer. But I thought, what the hell? I'll go ahead and think of some questions beforehand.
Oh, I'm just so unusual. I'm kind of uncomfortable. All right, let's do
But
it.
hey, I did this last week with Corey, and so when I make the overlays, I throw them on my little screen here, but I
Right.
can't see them, so they're like random. So I have no idea what button I'm pushing, what's gonna come on the screen, in what order. So they're all out of order.
So whatever happens, wherever they fall, there they
Yeah.
shall lie.
Well, one question we talk about the Vikings, it's all about the game. Then the next question to be like, "Where's your favorite place to vacation?"
Right.
No, I
Love
don't
it.
ask that one. I promise. All right, here we
It's
go.
all good.
Let's get into this
I have
thing.
an answer for that. So if you
Ooh,
want to
this
ask
is
it, there you go.
so. All right, Devontae Adams. He probably had other plans. All right, and this is not. I'm gonna say it's right out the gate because everyone's talking about this day, dude. I love
Right.
Devontae Adams, and I am
I
all good with the decision he
love
made.
Devontae.
Yeah,
Yes.
he made a best decision for him or whatever. But I feel like, and then I'm not saying that he regrets the decision, but obviously I think he wished he would have went a different route. Like,
Oh, 1,000%. You think? Yeah, no doubt. No
so
question.
like he's in a rough spot. So what do you think about this whole situation?
Well, what's interesting is funny you say that, like the idea that he's in a rough spot, because one of the things he talked about when one of the interviews he did this summer, and this isn't the driving force, right? Obviously, but he did mention, he's like, I don't know, there's a little bit of like kind of not a question, but there's something hanging in the air there about in Green Bay about when is the transition to Jordan Love going to happen? Do I really want to be there when that happens? Blah, blah, blah. Well, now you just wanted to go play with your buddy, and now you're going to transition to somebody. I don't know who it's going to be, but sure feels like the days of playing with Derek Carr are over, and he signed this deal and he's there for, I guess, the long haul. The thing is, though, is like, I love Devontae for everything he accomplished in Green Bay and as a dude. Like, I love him. I love
Yeah,
his approach. I love how he kind of handled himself as a Packer. I love how he's handled himself in the NFL in general. And look, he wanted to play, yes, with his best friend, but he also wanted to play closer to home.
Yeah.
And the thing is like everybody kind of gloms onto the idea that, oh, the Packers offered more money, right? That's always the thing. Like, or we're ready to meet whatever the Raiders offered. As far as, okay, in and of the kind of 30,000 foot view. But if you want to drill down into it and look at the actual contract that the Raiders gave Devontae, they guaranteed stuff that the Packers probably never would. And that was a major reason why the Packers couldn't sign him last summer. Right.
Yeah.
So, like, I get it, man. Like, he got what he wanted monetarily. He's living closer to the West Coast, to his family. His grandmother got to come see him play this year for the first time ever in person. Like, he's pretty good. You know what I mean? He's in a good spot. Yes. Does he wish they would have won more games this season? No doubt about it. But, you know, he's still one of the best wide receivers in the league. Who knows what happens at quarterback next year? He's still living large. You know, I don't think he's pining for Green Bay. That's my.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't think that. Like people are like, oh, he regrets it. I don't know that he regrets it. The major point, because like obviously with Carr, that's his guy, that's his buddy. But I think the major point is his grandma. His grandma never got 100%. To watch him. She couldn't travel, and she got to see him play. I think that's more important than
how could it not be, right?
Yeah, it's got to be the most important. And dude, like talking about how good a Devontae Adams is. When I did that, remember that I did that like charity softball game. I was the umpire,
right?
And I kind of I screwed up, and Rodgers and Devontae were in my face yelling at me, right? Like you screwed up.
I remember that.
Yeah, but like later on,
I was just gonna say, didn't you get run over in that game?
I was remembering that right? No, I don't. No, I
run over. Okay,
I got yelled at pretty extensively by the whole offense, but mostly Rodgers and Devontae. But after that, Devontae Adams, because I DM'd Devontae Adams, and I kind of felt bad or whatever. I might have said something like, "Hey, I'm sorry, you know, my bad, my fault." And then, but he actually responded and he said, "It's all good, man. All in fun. You did a great job." Something like that. He was like, awesome. He actually took the time to like write that.
Love Devontae.
Yeah, he's just a good dude. He is.
He is. He absolutely is. He's one of the best in the business. And it's funny because like every time I speak up and talk about how much I do like him, like someone throws up the thing from the game against, I think it was the Chiefs, where he shoved the photographer or whatever. And I'm you have no idea. You have no clue what's going on there. Like, I'll defend Devontae to the death. I love that man. Like, shout out to
when
him.
that happened,
he's a Packer forever. Like, whatever. I don't care.
I think that was just a bad day. I don't know the situation. You know,
a bad day at the office.
Yeah. All right, let's keep her moving over here. All right, let's see what we got next. Okay, the injury. You just actually tweeted the injury report. I was gonna grab that and put it on overlay, but I was kind of feeling lazy at that point. But let's go through the injuries. Like Christian Watson obviously got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, you got Watson and Keyshawn Nixon both not practicing today after Coach went up there and said into a microphone that both of them will be practicing in a limited capacity, but apparently that wasn't the case because the beat goes out to practice and neither of those guys are participating.
Maybe he thought nobody would pay attention.
I know, right? Well, we didn't pay no attention to the guys behind the curtain. I will say the encouraging thing is to see Bakhtiari out there for another practice session. I'm fascinated to see whether he plays or not on Sunday. Every fiber of my being says, yeah, probably not. But man, at the same time, I'm like, if there's a dude who's like, yeah, appendectomy a couple weeks ago, yeah, I'm back out there, it's David Bakhtiari, right? So maybe that happens, which I think, obviously, when you're talking about Danielle Hunter and Zadarius Smith, and you know Zadarius wants to make a splash in this game, wants to wreck some things in this game, I want David Bakhtiari out there. Because I'll guarantee you this. I will guarantee you this right here on the Matt Ramage stream here on a Thursday night. If David Bakhtiari plays, Zadarius wants absolutely nothing to do with that smoke. Like, they switch those guys up every once in a while. Like, try to get advantageous matchups, blah, blah, blah. Zadarius wants nothing to do with David. He will be on the other side for the entire game if David plays. And I'll just laugh. It's gonna be great.
Dude. I like it. Zadarius Smith to me, like when he first went over there, a lot of Packer fans are mad and they're like, he sucks anyways. So no, he's very good. First of all, his first year on the team.
He's very good.
He brings like excitement in the locker room, and I don't know how much that helps them win. I think it does. I think it's part of momentum. It's part of and the fan base gets all excited. You know,
Sure.
when he first came, him and Preston,
Oh, I mean, they
him and it's
changed
like
the
everyone.
entire.
We were all
Hey,
yay.
man, he changed the entire. I mean, he and Preston were great together, but Za'Darius really led the charge as far as like completely changing the culture in the locker room, around the team, availability with the media. Like he changed it, and it was
Yeah,
great, and it was great, and he was productive, and he was a really good
yeah,
player,
it
and
was
that's what he's
fun.
doing in Minnesota. So it's like, I mean, look, the Packers made a choice, right? They had a choice
Yeah,
between Za'Darius and Preston, and they chose Preston. And to be fair, I'm really happy they did.
yeah,
Preston
me
balled
too.
out down in Miami, and he wrecked shop down in Miami. And he's been a very solid, consistent player. Like Za'Darius, yes, he has played well in Minnesota. But if you had to say, okay, we can only pay one of these dudes to pair with Rashawn Gary, I'm all in on Preston Smith. I
Yeah.
think the Packers made the right choice there.
I totally do, and even like for a selfish reason, because when Haha Clinton Dix, we started making those videos, he started talking to me a little bit. He got
Right.
traded. So if Preston comes in, he starts talking to me a little bit, does my
Oh
podcast,
no.
and then he's gone. Like
And
it
you were
was,
all like, you were worried. You were worried ahead of this
I was
offseason,
like,
like,
no
oh
player
no,
will
no,
ever talk to
no.
me again. Like that dude's a jinx. No,
Oh
but
man.
I do think Preston Smith. I think the one thing about Preston Smith, because I'm not no like film buff or whatever. I see someone get a sack, I know it's probably pretty good. But like he seems to like not
Pat
get sucked
Ramage
in.
breaking it down.
But Preston Smith seems to like not get sucked in. Like he stays in his lane. He stays doing what he's supposed to do.
Oh no, dude. You
Yeah,
talk about a really smart player. This is the thing. Like everyone wants to look, and I get it, man. Guys get contracts because of their numbers, right? They get contracts because they get to the quarterback, like you're saying. Like we all see it and go, oh yeah, awesome. I mean,
yeah,
there are many levels to this. There are many things that go into it. Yeah, a big part of it is beating the guy across from you, but who knows? Coverage, whatever's happening on the other side. Maybe there's a double on the interior. But look, you still have to make the play, right? All of that said, every other aspect of his game is fucking awesome. You talk about like setting an edge, talk about
yeah,
recognition. They try to do those little smoke screens or try to do a tunnel screen or whatever. Preston shuts all that down. He's a really, really
yeah,
good player, an all around player, not just a pass rusher. That's what I love him. That's what I mean. When I'm talking
yeah.
about like the Packers making a good choice, they made a good choice there.
Yeah, he's a disciplined player.
Yes.
He stays where
He's
he's
not
supposed to
fooled.
be.
He's not, yes, the
Yeah, he
eyes are
doesn't get
good.
sucked in.
There's
Yeah.
not a lot of false steps. And look, there was a play, I think last year actually, against the Vikings, where they tried to do some kind of tunnel screen out to the right, a fake, and then go deep. And Preston completely stayed home, wasn't fooled by anything, none of the kind of action that's designed to take advantage of his aggressiveness. And he just went, oh no, I'm going to sack the quarterback. Like I loved him. I loved him as a player.
Yeah, it's funny because like I remember like people were getting like not mad but like making fun of me because on my live stream during the game, I was like talking about like Preston Smith just not getting sucked in, and they're like, you act like he got a touchdown, like he
It's
stayed
good.
where
I
he's
mean,
supposed
look,
to be.
look,
I mean
look,
that's
look.
huge.
How we love Rashawn Gary, right? Rashawn Gary is a absolute beast, but he does take false steps and get sucked inside and lets guys get out on the perimeter at times. And Preston never does that ever.
Yeah, he's always
Like that's a really good player. I love
yeah,
it.
he's the opposite of me. Like at my job, he's always where he's supposed to be. People
I
look
mean,
for
look
me to work my job. They're
on
like, I don't
on the
know.
Green Bay Packers defense. That's a major W. Completely.
It is. All right, here we go. All right, so here we go. This is a good question, like podcastery question. Uh, what are some?
I love
What
how
are
you say this like you've never podcasted before. You've been podcasting for like years, and you're like, "Oh, this isn't bad." Oh my god,
This is,
you're like still surprising yourself years later.
no, but like keys to beating the Vikings. What are some things that the Packers have to do for them to get this win? Because the Vikings, I mean, I talk a lot of trash about the Vikings, but obviously the record is
Yeah,
what it is.
I mean
I
they're
mean,
good. They're a good
I
team.
mean,
They're a
yeah,
good team. Look, they have a defense that you can take advantage of. My worry heading into this game, and you talk about a key to beating them. Look, you got to possess the football. This is a team that does not have a very good defense. The Packers, Matt, Aaron, etc., they're going to be tempted to score early and often, to try to push the ball down the field, right? To get into a track meet. this is not the team you want to do that against. This is a game where you want to run the football, you want to possess the football. And look, I know people are going to say, like, "Oh, Aaron, you always want to run the football," and that's true, I do. But there are certainly times when I understand wanting to spread it out, throw it around the yard. But man, especially with Christian Watson probably not playing in this game at this point, like 2 days in a row not practicing doesn't bode well for his availability on Sunday. Rhythm offense, run the ball, keep the ball, and I hate saying this into a microphone, keep the ball out of Kirk Cousins' hands. If for no other reason that Kirk is throwing it more often than not to Justin Jefferson, who is absolutely a problem. So
yeah.
eliminate that equation, eliminate it from the game by possessing the ball, playing ball control. And I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is capable of that, but that's what they need to do. Because look, we've already seen now against the Bills and definitely against the Colts, it doesn't matter how big your lead is. You can have a 3, 4, 5 touchdown lead. It doesn't matter against this team. So possess the ball, take the air out of the game, and then end up with a W at the end. That's what they do.
There you go. I like that. Justin Jefferson is huge because first of all, it seems like the Packers secondary sometimes the guys are just like I'm not like I say a film buff or whatever, but like I'm like they should just cover that guy. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think.
What a plan!
No, I know obviously the difference between zone and man, and guys
that might be my favorite comment analysis of the Packers in 2022 all year. That's amazing. But no, I get it. Because look, you can't go much further than week 1 over in Minnesota and go, "Hey, Joe, I got a great idea. Why don't you cover that guy?" I mean, yeah, hey. It's crazy, right?
I think, I might
call me nuts.
I'm gonna talk to Wes. He's got, the ins right there. Just walk down the hall and be like, hey, just give him a tip from Matt.
I mean, tell him Ramage said maybe cover him. Maybe cover Justin Jefferson. Look, he's a game wrecker. He's so good. I just put up a clip from my Packers Daily Chat a little bit ago on Twitter about this. He's gonna do what he does, man. He's gonna cause you pain, right? It's just about limiting it. It's just about finding that Novocaine, just finding a way to limit the damage because he is going to get his. He is too good. They use him too well. You can only hope to contain him. You cannot stop him.
Oh, yeah.
You can't.
That's actually one of my graphics that we just ruined because we just talked about Justin Jefferson. But that's that part of this. But so, week 1, there was a talk about Jair Alexander, following him.
Yeah.
Is there a chance that that'll happen? Are they going to play Justin Jefferson different?
I think yes. I think they better. I mean,
I know, right?
They better have a different plan this time around.
Let's just do the same thing. It worked great.
Good Lord. Look, I mean, it's funny because we can sit here and talk about, they might a different plan, blah, 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 which obviously they should. But look, man, there's a very different secondary rolling into this game than there was in week 1, right? Eric Stokes is on IR. Darnell Savage has been demoted and or benched. Who knows? Maybe he's back in some capacity. But look, ultimately, we as fans want to sit here and say, oh, just put Jair on him. Okay, that's great. But I can show you plenty of clips from week 1 where Jair has him and Jair gets burned. I mean, turned around. I mean, like toast. So that's not a set it and forget it situation. And this is what I'm talking about. You're never going to completely contain him. You're not going to stop him. You can only limit it, whether it's rolling coverage his way, whether it's having, a very specific set of rules for him in the red zone. There are lots of things you're going to want to do. But, man, the way they move him around, the way they feature him, the way his ability in open space against anybody, it's just a major problem, man. And that's why they've won the games that they've won. That's why he's put up the numbers he's put up, right? So will it be different? God, I can only hope so. But don't expect them to completely shut him down because that's most likely not going to happen.
That's the thing, with putting Jair on him, I love Jair. I think, first of all, I love his personality. He's so fun. I think he's a great corner. But, first of all, I feel like he's maybe a little aggressive, whatever, things happen. He can't be beat.
What's
you
funny
said,
is it's funny because you go back to, I think it's 2019. There's a play in San Francisco where Kyle Shanahan completely takes advantage of Jair's aggressiveness, where it's a zone coverage and Jair bites up and they get Kittle on a route on the backside, which if Jair plays his assignment, he's there to stop, right? But because
Yeah.
Jair bites up, Kittle's wide open. It's a big gain. But that was 2019. And then you get to 2020 and 2021, and he was much more disciplined. He was not less aggressive because he's still an aggressive dude, but he was
Yeah.
much more disciplined. That has kind of disappeared this year. I'm going to say totally because I think you've seen him make big plays. You've seen him make stops, what have
Remember
you.
when he streaks across the screen?
Oh, my God. The Chicago interception is amazing. But,
That was
it's like
awesome.
you've seen kind of the return of him with an itchy trigger finger. I don't like if he plays a disciplined brand of football, he's still the best corner in the game. But
Yeah.
that's
But
up to
I
him.
think that when you're aggressive, like, yeah, like sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes
it's
you
no
know, you
different
make
than
a
Aaron
big play.
Rodgers
Yeah, or Favre back in the
chucking it up
day.
for Jesus on 4th and short, like
Yeah, sometimes you got to say screw it. You know,
when it's
someone's down
great,
there.
it's great. We all cheer. When it's not, we all tear apart.
Yeah, you're gonna be in the comment section. You know,
Exactly.
you even post a picture of someone, dude. I could just on Facebook, like someone who like potentially like has a bad game, it's kind of talked about. I could just post a picture, no comment, and I just watch the comments, be like, "This guy's a piece. Wow, they should kill him." All right. So here's a question from Facebook. Someone
God.
asked me, "Will
Oh,
Aaron
Lord.
Rodgers ever be on Cheesehead TV?" Because you guys have quite the cast over there. You had David Bakhtiari and
Right.
countless. I don't know them all, but you've had some big time
We've had
guys.
Bakhtiari.
David
We've
Bakhtiari, you
had
had Coach running
We've
across
had
the street.
lots of people.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers is afraid to cross the street. There's no stop sign there. I mean, if you want, I'll come be the crossing guard, make sure everyone gets safe. I'll be in the window during the whole thing, though. Like, what's going on in there, guys?
It's never gonna happen. Look,
No.
I've requested Aaron to come on Cheesehead TV every summer for like 10 years. Every summer. And it's always been an instant no until like a couple years ago we got a maybe, and then it was a no. But then, he goes on Pardon My Take, which is co-hosted by a Bears fan this past summer. That tells me all I need to know, right? Like he's too big. He's too like dialed in with Barstool or whatever, like blah, blah, blah. He's never coming on Cheesehead TV, which is fine. And I hear people who talk about, oh, it's because you guys rip him. I'm like, man, we talk about what's on tape. Like, we'll show the tape.
Do you think that Barstool Big Cat has never ripped Aaron Rodgers?
Well, that's the other thing. It's like,
I don't know. Yeah, because that was a show he was on. I mean, I don't think the players really, first of all, care that much because they know what you're doing. You're not maliciously, obviously.
Although I will say, it's funny because it's funny you bring that up because there are most players, I think, once they're in the league for a while, don't care. But man, there is no greater moment than that first DM from a Packers player during preseason when you point out something they did poorly in the preseason or in camp or whatever, where they take issue with you and they come after you. And it's like, my guy, like, look, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but it's there for everyone to see. Like, it's a preseason game. It's on television.
And that's your
I don't know if
job.
you know this, but this stuff is recorded for everyone to look at. I love it.
Yeah, because I mean that's your. I never got that because people always say I'm a cheerleader because like that's what I am. I'm a
Packers.
fan.
There's nothing
I'm
wrong
a
with
fan. Like I'm not. I'm a podcaster. I do this. Yeah, but like I'm a fan. People are like you're a homer. Like yeah, I know, bro. Like I got pictures on my wall. Like what? What do you think this is over here? There's not all 32 teams
really
on the wall.
Crack the code.
Yeah, like you figured it out, bro. Don't tell nobody. All right, let's keep it. All right. Should Nixon get a shot at wide receiver? I think this is a fun question. He was talking LaFleur talking. I don't know all the details. I saw the headlines.
He was talking about it, trying to lobby for playing in the slot, on offense. Look, man, I don't care what you do. Just get your groin right. Like, I don't know if playing slot receiver is going to get you, make that groin any worse, but if they found a package for him and found a way to utilize him, yeah, I'm all for it. But let's concentrate on taking those kicks back.
Oh yeah, first of all,
and next time, I promise the offense will get in the end zone.
Yeah, that it's like yeah, we finally found a guy that can return it. Let's not like how can we get this guy hurt? No,
It's
but
like
like
I'm for getting your best, your playmakers
yeah,
the ball, like right. Like there was also talk a couple years ago, or I think maybe last year, about Jair possibly playing on offense when he got back
yeah.
from being injured. We haven't seen that materialize yet, but I'm all for it. I'm all for
Yeah,
it.
oh,
Although I will say, every time this conversation comes up, all I can think of is Julius Peppers down in New Orleans on I think it was a Monday night, maybe it was a Sunday night, and they tried to run a slant with him in the red zone, and he dropped the ball because Aaron threw it, I guess, so
well,
hard. Like,
and you think about like with Devin Hester, great all time, probably the best, maybe
one of the
whatever.
best
He's either
returners of
one
all
or two.
time, no
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah, he's either one or two, I would think.
I mean, he's no
And
Desmond Howard, but he's pretty good.
yeah, he's all right. But like they put him at wide receiver because he wanted to be because he's like, yo, I'm this. He was like,
I'm
big
that
part of
dude.
yeah.
Right.
And then that didn't work out. Well, I mean, he didn't really have a quarterback, I don't think. But anyways, but yeah, I'm all for like if they think it's right, you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah. No,
Like who the hell am I?
that's the thing. Like, if they work on it in practice and
Yeah,
they
because they
think
can't be like, yeah, we're just
think
gonna do
they
this. It's not
think they can
Madden.
take it, they think they can take advantage of something that they see on tape. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely they should.
If they
But
can trickeration a little bit, because I'll go with the.
we'll see. We'll see.
Anyways, we'll keep it moving here. All right, how many beers do you drink on game day? I had Corey on the other last week. No, it wasn't last week because I was sick, but the week before I think.
That's a great question.
And we were talking about how he told you like because you told me one time Corey's like simmer down, and then he was like he just said I just said bring the ABV down a little bit. But I'm kind of curious because for me it depends on a lot of things. Like, do I work the next day?
Right?
Do I have sick days?
Yeah.
Dude, did you see like at this last game? I didn't plan on going to the game, right? I go to the game. Because I went down to a tailgate to say what's up, say hi to people or whatever.
Right,
and someone's like, "Yo, I got row 2 Senior Cheesehead." The guy with the big sombrero.
Shout out to Senior Cheesehead.
Yeah,
that dude is awesome.
He is awesome. So he was like, "Yo, I got extra seat, row 2 in the end zone for free because a friend of his couldn't go." So I was like, "Oh, so shout out to Oscar." But so I went to this game, right? And I didn't plan on going to the game. I had to work the next day. So I was drinking and I was, the section was lit. It was really lit. It was so, everyone was having so much fun. So I was like, oh, I should probably call in sick. Someone's like, yeah, you should do it right now. And then from the seats. So I call in sick from the seats, right? And
from Lambeau?
Yeah, from Lambeau Field in the seats. And I got a little caught in a moment because people were like around there recording. Everyone's cheering because people like knew who I was in that section, and we were like it was lit, right? So then I thought, while I'm calling in sick from the stands. So I had this little shot of Woodson whiskey. I peel that thing back and I take a shot of Woodson whiskey as I'm calling in sick from Lambeau Field. And then I posted on Twitter. Charles Woodson retweets it. Like everybody at my work sees it. I think I might have put it on my Snapchat too. I don't know. Everybody at my work sees it. Everyone's like, "You're getting fired." I didn't get fired though. I didn't.
Well, that's good. That's good. And even if you did, that would just give you more time to do this. And Quick Trip would just so you'd be fine.
It was pretty odd. That was a legendary game. It was so cool.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
All right, so back to the question on you. That's what I do on this show. I ask questions, and then I ask myself a question, and I just answer that one before you can answer yours.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like it depends. I would say most likely 5 or 6.5. Like it depends on it also depends what I have on offer. Like if there's carry the G in the office, like there was earlier this season, there are probably 3 or 4.5. But that's probably why there isn't any carry the G left here in the second half of the season. But I'll do because Corey, like I did say last time around, like he got after me because and he's right. Like by the fourth quarter, initially when we were doing watch parties, by the fourth quarter I was pretty gone. So it was like, all right, bring it down, have some lighter beers, and that's what I've done. Like I tend to start with something like a Pabst or a Miller Lite early in the first half, and then by the second half, I'm like, I'm going something a little stronger, maybe like a Sweet Action. It's a great beer here in New York, and I think it's available nationally, but or just some heavier lagers, whatever, blah blah blah. But so about 4, 5, 6 every half, roughly.
That's a good number. That's a Wisconsin number. Because you're saying that, right? 4, 5, 6 a half.
Right.
Eh,
Depends.
you know what I mean? And that's like that's low ball on it, you know what I mean? And then that's just like that.
Maybe.
It ain't no thing.
It
So
depends
a
on the
lot of people,
game. That's the other thing. It depends on the
if
game.
you tell someone like in like whatever, Alabama, maybe not Alabama, I feel like they get down. No, but you know what I mean? Anyway,
down everywhere. You know that.
So I was gonna ask you a question too, and it was there, and now it's gone. You know, next Tuesday I'll text you.
Please do. Please do. I'm
I'll
looking
be like, hey,
forward
remember
to
that?
it.
Remember that question?
That question
No,
I
but,
had that I forgot. Here it is. I love it.
All right, here we go. Oh no, this isn't. So you got like a quick like this isn't planned. It just popped in my head. What's your 5 go-to beers? Top 5 go-to beer.
Wow.
You can throw obviously your beer. It could be number 1, or we can
number 1
exclude
is
it.
Carry the G. Come on.
Oh, definitely.
Come on.
First of all,
What-
I
I'll-
meant to get Carry the G beer, but like I live just outside of Green Bay, so like I always forget. Like when I go into Green Bay, I always forget because when Corey's on, I wanted to get I want to drink your beer.
have some Carry
You
the
come
G,
on, yeah,
obviously.
and it's good beer. It's I was at his house and I drank it. It was good. Like
Hey, I was at his house and I drank it, so that's kind of what you
I know
do.
he told me. I was like, I told him I was like, I'm gonna get some KDG beer. He's like, if you can't, I'll I got some. I was like, yeah, you got that big ass fridge.
I will say, like, I don't like. All right, so it's definitely Carry the G, number 1 when I can get it, and then it's Spotted Cow, and then it's Dale's Pale Ale, and then probably Sweet Action, and then probably oh man, that fifth one's tough. I mean, it's probably something like really cheap, like I'm talking like Pabst, or a
Yeah.
Schlitz, something like that. You gotta have a beer that you can pound, right? All
Dude,
day.
a Pabst. I don't even know what the alcohol like whatever is. It's just to me like as a kid, as a youngster, that's a manly beer.
Drinking beer.
No, I wasn't drinking it. No,
Right,
but like watching all my uncles, like Pabst in my head, I don't drink it.
I was just gonna say,
it's
my
like
my
adult beer.
grandpa owned a bar when I was growing up in Chilton, and it was a Pabst bar. Like it had a Pabst sign outside, like blah blah blah. So that's kind of what I always associate with Wisconsin beer, and that's always been the thing I kind of reach for, right? But look, man, there are a ton of great beers, and there are a ton of great beers that I love, like regardless of where they're from or who brews them or whatever. Man, all I ever used to drink was Newcastle Brown Ale. I love that beer until they changed the formula because apparently there was something in there that was causing people cancer, and then they changed it. And I'm like, look, I would have shaved off a few years of my life to keep drinking that beer if you wouldn't have changed the flavor.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's just unfortunate. Just unfortunate.
A few people ruin it for everyone.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, I think, here we go. Let's keep her moving, Mr. Aaron Nagler. Here we go. Clinton Dix retires. Retires a Packer.
He does indeed. Your boy. Boy.
This is the jersey right here. I should move the camera. Let me.
There you go. Let the people see.
Mr. Clinton Dix, he autographed that thing. It says to Matt, little googly eyes he drew. He's a pretty good artist. And his name over there, God bless, go Pack, go. But Mr. Clinton Dix, I love that dude. I really do. He's pretty awesome. He's just so nice. He's just everything about him. Like, first of all, like a lot of the stuff that I do right now, the reason people even know who I am is because those little video clips on Instagram really gave me a boost.
I was gonna say the first video I ever saw of you was you and together.
Yeah, so
100%.
He definitely helped me like get into this thing a little bit, but he's just beyond that. He's just cool. He's just so like a real person.
He always seemed like a good dude. I've never spoken to him outside of like, asking him a question in the scrum in the locker room, blah, blah, blah. But it's what's so weird to me with is I am still blocked by him on Twitter after I defended him. I will never forget this. I was on the N train coming home from work. And there was some, back when he played with Green Bay, there was always like some kind of flame war going on Twitter about his play, something he had done, something he hadn't done, some play he did or missed or whatever. And I literally defended him and got blocked. So I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Here's the thing with getting blocked by someone. Like if someone looks at their phone and then it looks like this person and they block you, it's just forever because they can't ever see that. Maybe it was
still
a
blocked
mistake.
by AJ Hawk, even though again I defended the hell out of him when Packers fans came for him back in the day. I defended him to the hilt, and I've been blocked.
You just being blocked by everyone. You know who blocked me one time?
Who's that?
Ashton Kutcher. I love me some
That's
Ashton
so
Kutcher.
random.
It's so old, right? It's so long ago that
it's
not even this Twitter account because, like, I made a new one or whatever. I quit Twitter a long time ago for a while, but I opened my Twitter app one day. This is before when Ashton Kutcher used to tweet as himself before that scandal. I'm not going to get into that, but so I opened my Twitter one day and the Packers lose to the Bears, and Ashton Kutcher, who I didn't know is a Bears fan, he says, "Go Bears!" Like whatever the Packers. I don't know what he said, but like, so I said something very not probably as nice as I should have, and then I got blocked, and I was like, "Oh, I got blocked by Ashton Kutcher. Who can say that?"
I just want to give a shout out to Trayson, who says AJ Hawk is probably tired of the 12 slander, Nags. Trayson, this was way before the 12 slander.
Yeah,
that is way before all that. But welcome.
Yeah. But anyways, shout out to Hawkland Dix, retiring the Packer. He's
hey man, look.
You know how much good he does for Green Bay? Like when
he came
even
in
after
at the
he
perfect
left,
time. They needed somebody at safety. Ted drafted him. He did what he was asked. That's all I can ask. Love it.
That's all you can do. Big shout to Mr. Hawkland Dix. All right, here we go. Let's keep her moving over here. No, we already talked about that. We'll keep her that moving. Okay. This is a question. Who is QB1 next season? And basically what I'm saying is Aaron Rodgers is going to retire.
Lord, here we go. No, Aaron Rodgers is not going to retire. Aaron Rodgers will be quarterback next year.
All right, there we go. That's quick.
And I know that's the boring answer. No one wants to talk about it, but yes.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And I don't like this question because the Packers are still fighting for that's the offseason type of question. But someone asked, so I was like, yeah, that's a decent question.
I know, and I get it. And look, I understand why people are interested, and I understand why people want to know. But
so do you
I will
think,
be shocked if Aaron Rodgers retires.
So if Aaron Rodgers comes back next season, which I think he will, Jordan Love, is he gonna?
He'll be back.
They're going
to pick up his 5th year option.
There's going to be a lot of drama in this offseason, no matter what.
That's the thing. There are going to be a lot of drama. There's going to be a lot of narratives. There's going to be a lot of like pixels kind of spilled in service of trying to advance this idea that, there has to be a split. The split doesn't have to happen until next year. The split has to happen if they do pick up his Jordan Love's 5th year option, which I suspect they will. The guaranteed number that the Packers will have to take on doesn't happen until 2024. When, by the way, supposedly the salary cap is supposed to balloon. So I'm not too worried about it. And I know what's been written by both Jason Wilde and Rob Domofsky regarding Jordan Love possibly asking for a trade. I do not doubt he will rattle his saber a little bit. I do not doubt for a moment that the agent wants to try to get him to the free market or at least get him traded. I don't think any of that's going to happen. I think the Packers will say, we appreciate your frustration, but you're our guy going forward, and we want you here for another year. That's my suspicion. We'll see.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with that because I remember like when the Favre Rodgers thing was going on, I was saying the same thing. I was like, Favre going, it was a different situation. But I remember that's what I said. I was like, he's not going to be a backup forever. Like if he's that dude, if you feel like you're that dude, you're not a backup. Which 100%. I assume Jordan Love believes he's not a backup. He's at some point he's going to say, "Hey, like,
let me get the ball." You don't want to make too much of what happened when he came in Philadelphia, right? But he came in and ran the offense really well, and they scored, right? It's like it's not like he came in and was completely overwhelmed and was just a complete bumbling, kind of clearly in over his head quarterback. Like he operated the offense really well and made some really nice big time throws. Like that's a guy who looks ready to play. And I think the Packers are in a very unique situation. I do think one of the things they'll probably sell to him or try to impart to him is the fact that when they selected him, he was a very young prospect who was very clearly a project, right? And they have helped him along the way develop and become a better quarterback. Now, yes, does he need to play? 100%. But look, there are a lot of other teams out there who would have taken him and then thrown him to the wolves, and he probably wouldn't have been the quarterback he is today if he had been forced to start early in his career. So now look, his agent's going to say whatever he wants to say, and I understand it, and I get the desire to go and play because, like I said, he is ready. But the Packers own his rights. They have it for at least 2 years if they exercise that fifth-year option, which I suspect they will. I just don't see him going anywhere else anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't see him like causing a big commotion. I feel like he's gonna say what he's gonna say to the team and like face to face, and they're gonna have those tough talks. But like,
Yeah. What's funny though is that we say all this, and now watch, we'll have some draft day bombshell.
I
Like
know
we had
it'll
with
be
Rodgers
like
a couple of years ago. It was like Jordan Love refuses to play for Packers ever
I
again.
know,
Like I can't wait.
I know it'll be, and then they'll be like, that
Can't
will
wait.
be a thing.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Dude, this offseason, every offseason I think it's gonna get crazy.
Well, it's hard
then,
when you've got a long tenured starter at quarterback.
Yeah, it's gonna
especially if
happen.
he's a multiple MVP legend, won a Super Bowl, blah blah blah. Transitioning from that was always going to be bumpy,
Yeah.
right? Always. There's no doubt about it. It's just a question of how can you mitigate the bumps? You know, how can you kind of make that transition as kind of crazy as possible.
Yeah.
We'll see.
No,
We'll see.
like,
Obviously,
yeah.
a couple of summers ago was a little rough, but I think they've smoothed it out now.
Yeah, I was going to war a couple summers ago. I felt
Yeah.
like I went. I
Yeah, it
might have
was.
went too hard. I might have went too hard. We got a couple more here. Okay, your favorite Viking Packers game all time. First of all, have you been to any legendary? Or I'm sure you have been to some.
Dude.
But have you ever been to any legendary Viking Packer game, or what's your favorite?
I was in the house for Brett Favre's last game at Lambeau when he was the quarterback of the Vikings. When Desmond Bishop picked Favre off and ran it back for a touchdown, my soul left my body. Like that is like probably for all the games I've been at Lambeau Field for, that is probably my favorite moment. Like it was absolutely insane. What's crazy is I don't think people remember how close Favre came to pulling that one out. Like he had Randy Moss in the end zone and just missed it. Like Moss just couldn't quite get his feet down in the end zone, in the back of the end zone, but he came that close to winning that game. Like it was awesome. That game for me is like all-timer, right? But there's so many. The other one that really leaps to mind though is Antonio Freeman's miracle catch on the I think it was a Monday nighter where
he did what?
I was at my buddy's apartment in Brooklyn with Corey actually, and at that point we had like a 30 stack of Miller Lights going, like a pyramid. Like we were just like building and building all night long. So and then that happens, and I ran. It was like a 4-floor walk up or something. I ran downstairs into the street and just yelled at the top of my lungs when that happened because it was such an incredible moment. So yeah, there are obviously so many great moments between these two teams, more so than the Packers and the Bears. I'll tell you that. Like there's
in 2000s, there's some good ones.
Yes.
And
Remember like Chris Hovan and like Ragnar, the mascot dude who would ride out
he like quit.
Motorcycle. He finally quit, but he would like
dude, they wouldn't pay him.
Have back and forth with Favre like pregame. Like, blah, blah, blah. All those games were awesome. They were so
dude. There was some legendary games, and like so many legendary seasons for the Vikings. They really just couldn't finish the deal. You know what I mean? I don't want to bring that up.
Back in the day, they came they've been to 4 Super Bowls and they haven't been
so
able to win it.
How many Hall of Fame quarterbacks have the Vikings have? I don't know how up to date on you are on the lack of history of the Vikings.
Is Fran Tarkington in the Hall of Fame? I can't remember.
I think he is. I think he lost 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So I think because someone was saying today that there was 3, and I know that they're talking about Favre as one of them. So is there another one? I don't know. But like my point is this, because I don't want to get into this too much, but like I just want to say this because Viking fans have been up my rear the whole day, and sometimes I start it. Like most times when I talk trash, when I make a video trashing the Vikings or the Bears or whatever,
right?
It's because of a comment I saw or a message or some type of
someone comes after you.
Yeah, right. Someone, and it's when it gets me kind of a little riled up a little bit because I don't care. I'm at work, like I don't. But then if someone says something like, "Oh, I could," I get a little riled up. I don't really care that much, but like I can get fired up, have a good time. But like the Vikings talk about like the Packers, like back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks, but it's like, bro, they act like they have never had a Hall of Fame player before. They've
Look,
had Adrian Peterson. They had 4 Super Bowls that they lost.
Here's the thing to remember. When they come after you about that, and I did see the gentleman who said, "Oh, I don't know what's worse, like, oh, this or you have 2 back-to-back, like, Hall of Fame quarterbacks for 30 years, and only this is always the key, only 2 Super Bowls." Let me tell you what I did on both of those afternoons, evenings, overnights when they won the Super Bowl. I had the best time of my life, and guess what? You have no idea. I can't explain it to you. I can't even commiserate. I can't even relate because you have no idea what that's like.
You can't
I
teach
have every idea. Me, my friends, all the people who grew up as Packers fans, we have those memories for the rest of our lives. You have injuring Aaron Rodgers, I guess.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you've got. We have memories of championships that will last us a lifetime. You have a bird-killing stadium. Congrats.
You know what I mean? It's just that's why you're here for that moment.
I mean, it's so obvious. Here's the thing, though. It's like, why, if you're a Vikings fan, why would you ever come after a Packers fan? Ever. I don't care.
First
yes,
of all,
this
they're
year
not.
you're having a fine year. We all know you're gonna flame out in the playoffs. Like, you're having a fun year. Why ruin it going after Packers fans so they can turn around and remind you of the the futility of your existence? Why would you do that? Why?
Yeah, because anytime you say anything, they're like, "Oh, you guys like to talk about the history." I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want to talk about history either if I didn't have one.
Right. Oh, we want to talk about the history of last year. We want to talk about the history of 2 years ago. We want to talk about this 3 years ago. Like, you have one good year, and all of a sudden, flapping the gums. And then next year, when everything gets restored to its proper order, you'll be quiet again.
And that's kind of what it is. The Vikings, every about 7-10 years, they have themselves a season. Anytime they win any game that means anything, they call it a freaking miracle.
Yeah.
They were down 33-0 to a 4-5 win team. They come back. They're like, oh, the Vikings did it. No, first of all,
it's the new Minnesota Miracle. It was
the
Colts, for God's sake.
I was saying this at work today. All right. This guy was, because I have a Viking fan friend at work, or a good guy. And whatever the words get said. But they were talking about, they're like, they came back with 33 points. I'm like, yeah, but you had to be down 33 points. So that'd be like, if
you had to suck pretty bad to be down 33. I mean,
let's say
let's just be honest here.
If there's a very short person, right, and or maybe even a child trying to attack you, and you're just like fending them, this analogy went off the rails a little bit because.
You're going all over the place.
I don't want to use that analogy. I feel like I was about to.
No, I just love John in the comments is like, the Colts beat KC. Great. Well, the Colts beat the Packers when they won the Super Bowl. So it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. Great. Awesome. Do you mean there was a fluke one week? Dope, man. Hang your banner for that.
Yeah, it's just, dude, I'm not impressed with you being down 33 points. So, a top 5 worst team in the league, and then you come back and win and act like you won a Super Bowl. Like, bro, why were you? And I get it, because first of all, I'll give them props for they're winning close games, right? So I think that helps you in the playoffs because you're going to be in close games. But I'm not sure in the playoffs they're going to be in that close of games, because if you play like that against a playoff team, you're not coming back. You're not.
I mean, look, it's all about, you get into the playoffs, it's all about defense and a running game that can take over if you're on the road. I don't know, man. Like, look, we're somewhat joking and pumping it up a little bit here, but look, the Vikings are certainly talented, right? They've got an offense that can score at any moment. We just talked a little bit ago about Justin Jefferson and how good he is, blah, blah, blah. Dalvin Cook is amazing. Like, there's no doubt that they have the horses, right? They can run that race. But we all know their defense. The moment they got to go on the road in the playoffs, they're done. They're done.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll win a home game, maybe. But they go to San Francisco, they go to Philly, they're done. So it's fine. Let them talk, let them chatter. It's all good.
And to me, because you're an analyst, you watch film, you do all the things. For me, it's just I feel like they got a hex on them. You know what I mean? It's not meant to be. They did something at some point to the football gods. They lost 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah,
Like,
and
how
then
do
they
you,
made their
if you do anything 4 times right, like you're not a skateboarder. I feel like
No.
if you try to do a skateboard trick 4 times, you'd get pretty close to landing that thing. They've
I'm
been to the
not
Super
a
Bowl 4 times
skateboarder.
with
That's
like one of
amazing.
the greatest defenses ever. You know, they had Hall of Fame guys, and you think at least one of them they'd have accidentally won. Anyways, I
That's
got
hilarious.
one more topic, and then I'm gonna let you out of this thing. This is a
All
lot
right.
longer than I expected to keep you.
It's all good,
and
man. What's up?
I
What's
appreciate it. But here we go. Mr. Paul Allen. He's no Wayne Larrivee. I got some stuff to say about Paul Allen. But
all right. Look.
Tell me what
I
you
know
got.
my co-founder is voraciously anti-Paul Allen, right? And
I am.
I get it. Corey has allowed his opinion. I understand it. But man, I think Paul does a great job for his fan base, right? Like Vikings fans love the man, and that's how it should be. Like, I'm not sitting here saying, like, do I enjoy it? Of course not. He's a Vikings dude. Like, no, it's not for me. But he is if you if you put into a computer, give me the equivalent of red meat for the base, right? Like just tossing out red meat for all the Vikings fans to devour. That's Paul Allen. And yes, if you're a Vikings fan, he's fucking awesome. And that's what it should be. So yeah, do I enjoy it? Of course not, because I hate the Vikings. But for his fan base, he is awesome at what he does.
I'll say to begin with, because I feel like me and you, like we vibe too good. Because I was actually saying this to my wife. I was saying this to my wife actually, because I was on the road and I was like, I want to listen to the Vikings game, so I turned serious and I actually got the Vikings broadcast, and they were getting blown up, right? That 33 point. So I got to listen to him go down 33 points, or what wasn't the whole thing.
Lose his
and
mind,
he was
right?
just, Tyler put a video up there, but I was listening to it and I was like in my truck driving, and I was in like traffic and I was just smiling. I was having a time of my life. It was the greatest drive I've ever had, because he was just crying. He's
losing his
should
mind.
Kick that guy out of the game, and he was crying. But like I said to my wife, I was like, he's basically like a fan. He's like me. If they let
he's
me,
100% a fan. Yes.
Yeah. I just think he's a douche. I don't know what to say.
Because you're a Packers fan. This is my point.
I get that he's good.
Look, if there's a dude on a team, right? There are so many guys like this in the NFL, players who are like, I hate that dude. I hate that dude. But if he's on your team, you freaking love him, right? That's Paul Allen in a broadcast booth. And that's great.
Yeah.
That's what the team should want. You want a guy who your fans are going to rally around. And yet,
we rally around Wayne.
Yeah, I know, but Wayne, we love Wayne because he throws the dagger, right?
Yeah.
And he's great as a play-by-play guy. Rock is the one who really kind of gets pumped up, like a little bit, like a little excited, whatever. But Paul does both of those things, and that's fine. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Look. Am I ever going to listen to him? Am I ever going to follow him on social media? No, of course not.
No,
that's the thing. I don't hate the guy. I just don't. Like, he's really good at what he does.
I don't hate him as like a person.
For his team, for his fan base, he's really good.
Yeah, I don't know. He is good at what he does.
Yes.
I just hate the prick.
And literally, by the way, also, may I also point out, we have spent 5 minutes talking about the dude on a Packers podcast. That tells you how good he is at his job.
Or does it tell you how drunk I am?
Yes. Both of those things.
I'll give him props that he's good at what he does, but I also find him like, I don't know, it's kind of like embarrassing. Like, I don't want to listen. First of all, I don't listen to radio.
Because you're a Packers fan. This is my point. If Wayne lost his mind at a game, we would all lose our minds. If Wayne got crazy
that's the thing.
during calling a game, we'd get crazy. It'd be amazing.
I don't know. I just feel like that's why they're all whiners, because he's a whiner. So he's like the leader of all like the whiners.
Yes. He's an embodiment of the franchise.
I wish I was like a leader of the Packers fan base. I don't know what I would do with that power, but like I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't cry. That's what I would. I
haven't heard him cry, but apparently maybe that happened. I don't know.
No, it's close. No, but I think I'm not gonna give him too much credit. All right, Mr. Aaron Nagler.
Right.
Mr. Aaron Nagler. Let's get this prick's name off the screen. I don't like him. I
feel you, man. You and Banky,
but because you could be good at something and I still don't like you.
That's cool. Wow, you just described Corey Banky. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But Mankey's whole life is like, you can be really nice, but I don't care. I hate you. Like that's
Yeah.
Corey.
That's like
Cool,
the
man.
opposite of me. I like good people. I like nice people. Like even if there's a player that's not as good, but he's
So let
really
me ask you
he
this:
was nice to me one time. I'm like,
Have you met Paul Allen? Do you know what
no.
kind of guy he
I've
is?
seen
No,
videos.
was my
He
point.
made a video. Remember when they made that video, trash the Packers or whatever way it was?
It's
And it
his
was
job
so-
to trash the Packers.
I know,
It's
but it was so
literally his
cringy.
job.
I feel
Yes,
like
it was
I do a better
totally
job
cringy.
trashing his team than he does.
You
That he
totally
does the
do.
trash in mine.
And
So I
Quick
feel
Trip
like
pays you a pretty penny to do so.
they don't
That's
pay me as
how
much
it
as
should
he's
be.
making.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I ain't mad at him for making money though.
Although
No.
who knows? It's the Vikings. They're cheap. So
Yeah, I know, right? They wouldn't even pay that biker guy. All right. Mr. Aaron Nagler, you can find him every day on Facebook. And a lot of people are watching this who watch us are on Facebook. Every day, Mr. Aaron Nagler does a Packers Daily on his own page.
Yes, sir.
And you can also find it on YouTube. You got the podcast, you got all the things. Cheesehead TV. If you don't know what that is, I don't think you're watching this thing. Not like I know Matt,
No.
but I don't know him. But
whoever this other dude is.
yeah, I know, right? Here we go. Go Pack, go people. Thanks for tuning in. We gotta leave a little. Hey, give me.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Go Pack, go people. Thanks for stopping by, man.